Are we on? 2 seconds.
We're on.
No, it's all right. Go on.
I don't know. Do I finish with that?
Nice of you to join us. First thing I'd like to say is F you, the Atlanta Falcons. Keeping it PC this week because I know this kid. How long it lasts. Do you know how many attempts Bijan Robinson's had in within 5 yards season, Bandy?
One.
That's correct. One.
How many yards did it go for?
-1.
0.
Week 10.
See? Play better. You get more opportunities.
Coming off a six loss losing streak.
It's a good streak, that, and it's good. Takes some going, actually, to lose 6 in a row.
Yeah. Third highest
Should
score
probably
in the league. Third highest score in the league and number 1 for points against.
That's the way the cookie
At least
crumbles.
At least you're taking it well.
And do you know who I blame it on?
Arthur
All
Smith.
of it.
I do exactly know you blame it on. The Falcons and Arthur Smith.
That's correct.
How does he feel about it?
He's too clever for his own good, isn't he?
He doesn't
is.
care. He doesn't care.
Nah.
But to be
Will do when
serious, he doesn't need to use Bijan in the 5-yard line because he's got Big Algier to just pound it in, hasn't he?
And Jonnu Smith to run jet sweeps with.
Yeah,
go nowhere.
lots of options. Paolo's back in the fold nowadays as well, isn't he? See, Pat?
Pato's had two carries in the 5 yards. So double what Bijan's had.
He's protecting his asset. That's what he's doing. He's very, very sensible.
Yeah, right. Hopefully he gets sacked and then it's all gone out the window anyway, isn't it? It's all fucking pointless. He's doing the same with Pitts, hasn't he? It doesn't make no sense.
Pitts is a very strange one, isn't he? He seems to be. It's just not a good fit, is it? Pitts in Atlanta and Arthur Smith, just it's not working.
Prick.
Like, in all seriousness, though, it makes the GM look bad, eh? Like, it's the GM who's drafting these players.
Yeah.
And you know, so at some point the fans are gonna start giving him stick, and then, you know, obviously job preservation then leads to, you know, need a scapegoat, don't you?
I was going to say, what's the acceptable level for the Falcons? Do they have to be a plus 500 team and in the playoffs? And does that cut the mustard with the fans and everybody that Smith's doing a good job, or do they need a bit more than that?
Well, no, probably like just getting to the playoffs this year, they'll be seen as a win for them, won't it?
And then we can have another year of Arthur Smith hands.
Yeah.
Do you know a lesson I've learned, right? Is it always gives me a bit of a thrill for like a rookie running back, right? And
yeah,
I think what happened, right, on his first season, and his first game he scored 40 odd points, and I thought, it was unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? And ever since then, I've been hooked on the rookie running backs. But next season, I'm going to make sure I look into the team and the management as well. So that's going to upgrade my game.
you're gonna be more thorough. Is that what you're saying? And not just go for a flashy name and a flashy generational talent
I'm
tag.
going to see if the coach is a fucking head case like Arthur Smith.
What's your verdict on his tack?
It's gone.
Oh, has he got
Gone
it?
now, isn't it?
What
Yeah.
was your verdict on his tash?
Yeah, he shaved it off, yeah.
Oh, is that him now?
As bad as his play calling.
It seemed to make him look older than what he was. If that was his
Is that his
game.
new look there, is it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Oh, he looked better with a tash, didn't he?
Pretty
He looks
much.
like he's founder of Apple or something, like one of them nerds or Microsoft.
Well, I mean, his dad's the founder of FedEx, isn't he?
Ah, there you go. See, and he was a fucking rabbit off. I hate him even more now.
Well, that's like
you got like FedEx.
that's how he's got so far, right? Through nepotism.
Bastard.
Hey, just gives you opportunity, doesn't it? Money and power. Who doesn't want it?
It all makes sense now. See, this is what I need to take into account next season. Because if I knew this, I wouldn't have never drafted him.
What you need to do when you get the player is look at the coach's family tree and register of interest. That's it. And then you're sorted.
Can you hear my microphone? Okay.
It's
dropping out.
Jumps
Is it?
in and out a little bit for me. Yeah. Just going a bit quiet. You can still hear it. Just quietens off a bit. I didn't know if it was like censoring you swearing or not.
How about that? Does that sound better?
That sounds good to me.
Hasn't dropped out yet.
Strange, that isn't it? You tell me when it drops out again. It shouldn't drop out. Like, got a fucking state of the art fucking gear here.
Nothing but the best, have you?
No, shouldn't be dropping out.
Anyway, where are you taking us now? Where are you taking us on the topic?
First port of call is the FFOP League. Now we've got that 7 minutes of hating the Falcons out the way.
Sorry, any Falcons fans who might be listening, come back next week. We might change our tune. Not.
Yeah, 2 seconds. Let me present this.
I didn't get the memo on Bobble Hat Week, though, did I?
Well, it's a bit cold outside, Barry.
Oh, I'm filming from inside, that's all.
Right. Okay. Is that where I'm going wrong?
Must be, I don't know. I thought that was the norm. But anyway.
We'll have to take mine off. A bit hot, like.
It's just absolutely freezing in this country, full stop.
Only because you're being used to warmer climates, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm looking for a winter home.
Okay.
The best have good internet. Huh?
Yeah.
You do the podcast, don't you? Keep that in mind. Right. Anyway, the first port of call is there's been a trade in our league.
A completed trade.
The completed trade. Yeah. It's gone from AJ, the Miami, whatever he's called, Miami
Twice.
Miami Twice. That's what he's called, yeah. And Callum.
All right. Okay. Callum's active in the trade market generally, isn't he? In the leagues we've been in with him.
Yeah. This came in from Callum as well. Callum sent the offer.
Ah, right. Okay.
Who do you think won? I have my idea. Who I think's won.
Probably just side Devontae, but like it's pretty much a time cost for me. It doesn't really bother me.
Is it obviously it's not a future? There's no chance of Adams going anywhere now, is there? That was what some of the talk wasn't it towards the trade deadline, but he's somewhat stuck in Vegas. I feel for him being stuck in Vegas. That must be tough. But I think he's had that. We've had that change of coach, haven't we? McDaniels is gone now, so there's some potential upside there from hopefully better coaching, isn't it, for him?
Yes. Yeah. Like even Adams spoke out about basically how toxic it was under McDaniels and how it's going to be. He was mic'd up for the game, on Sunday. And he was speaking before the game, just saying like how much better it's going to be going forward. basically.
Did you see, like this one, Ant? Did you see them in the changing rooms after the last win when they're all smoking cigars?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Kev Stead making an appearance. Get in there.
Was the owner in the change room as well, Blandy? What's that weird guy? What was he called?
I don't. Mark Davis. I don't know. I think it was at the barbers.
Well, I wouldn't have thought he was. I think he cuts his own.
Yeah. I didn't see. I didn't see him.
Real Kev Stead.
It's got to be. It's got a bird and everything.
Whoever's made that account, I like the detail he put into that.
And for friends of the show, this is one of your busy mates, isn't it, Kev Stead?
Heard you were doing a chat show with the lads.
He could be on next week, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could do his 10 minutes on moths. Right, Paul Opal's on as well. Trades. I was off for Derek Carr for Patrick Mahomes.
Keep hold of Carr. Don't trade away from Home Mahomes. 2 interceptions.
Yeah, so what are you saying on Devontae?
I think Devontae is a better player than Waddle, but I think Waddle's got that, in that electric Miami offense against the poorer teams or the average teams. They seem to run up some massive scores. They seem to have come short now every time they've played an elite team, don't they? But against everybody else, they run up some big scores. So I think Waddle's certainly got a good fantasy upside. Even as a wide receiver 2 behind Tyreek, he still gets his 100-yard games, doesn't he?
Yeah, occasionally. He has been injured majority of this season, picking up different injuries. So this bye week's important to him. But just flick onto Waddle's profile there, Anthem. Scroll down to the playoff weeks. So 15, 16, 17, he gets the Jets, the Cowboys, the Ravens. I mean, that's pretty much as tough as past defenses come, really, isn't it?
So, I was going to say that's a point I had listed. Do you start looking now at fantasy playoff weeks for when you're trying to maneuver players?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. This is one thing that puts me off Adams. You see, it depends because if you look at Adams' next games, I take on board the playoff stuff.
Yeah,
the Jets.
Yeah,
best cornerbacks in the league. Then Miami.
No,
then the Chiefs. The Chiefs
they're
don't like that either. And then he's on the bye.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to try and get into playoffs, Devontae is the one you want to get rid of, in my book.
Yeah, I can see. I can see that if you need to do something now to get yourself in, but I think if hopefully you're in a position where you're maybe a couple of wins ahead of the playoff mark, and you can start being a bit forward thinking and look at those players who might win you the playoffs. So getting in the playoffs is great, but it's no good getting in and get beat week one. You want to be winning the playoffs, and I don't know how much maybe Blandy sort of looks ahead at those schedules and thinks, right, which players have got that upside for those weeks that can win me the playoffs.
I've got no teams close to getting in the playoffs, so.
Well, why should you? You're only a regular on a podcast. Why should you have any good fantasy teams?
Hey, we should start a podcast, lads. Fucking hell.
I bet Kev Stead's got a few good teams kicking it up.
Yeah. No, it's certainly something to bear in mind. And if I got what I thought was a fair trade for a Miami player in this instance, then it would certainly be a factor in me moving off them.
Because there are some teams who have much easier schedules than others, don't we? I think, again, I was on a bit of chat with a couple of people who aren't regular NFL followers in the last couple of weeks, and they were saying, how does the schedule work? And it's distinctly not fair, is it? It's not like football where everybody plays it around twice and you get a somewhat unfair crack the whip. In NFL, you've got some teams who've got a really easy schedule compared to some teams who have a really tough schedule.
Yeah, you do, yeah. And it's just the luck of the draw, really, isn't it? As to when some of those games will come along as well.
Kevin Stead, fucking brilliant. On to other news in our league. Our very own team has received an offer again from AJ. He's this is AJ's second year in fantasy, and he's getting more and more giddy. Do you know what I mean? And
I like the fact he's making some moves. You know, that's a good sign, isn't it? He's got his finger on the pulse and he's trying to make things happen. So that's what you want to be involved in leagues like that, don't you?
Yeah. He was addicted to Premier League fantasy for many years and still is. And this is slowly but surely started to get him even more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean that's as fucking dull as dishwater, though, isn't it? Fantasy Premier League. There's not an awful lot you can do with it, is there?
You're only setting your own teams. Yeah.
Then you've got the red zone on a Sunday. You can't beat it. You can't beat it.
You can.
So my first thoughts on this trade was snap his fucking hand off.
Yeah, well, we've got Goddard who's now injured, so we need to. There's the absolute.
So just to be clear, we would be receiving Jake Ferguson, the tight end for Dallas Cowboys, and we would be letting Geno Smith, the quarterback for the Seahawks, go. Yeah.
So we picked up Fields in waivers this week, but Fields is out. So we're basically looking for a quarterback this week if we were to accept the trade. Is there anyone that you're particularly interested in, Anth, as far as quarterbacks go that are available this week? I've one that I like and one that I could be talked into, but I don't think Barry would talk me into him. I think Barry talked me off him.
It's not Baker, is it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. We're not having him. Not on my watch.
I've been playing Baker in one of my dynasty leagues.
Yeah. He's actually playing pretty well, to be fair to him.
We did have a little chat off, didn't we, Blandy, about what the options were this week, just before we came on.
Yeah. And you know, the Bucs defense is pretty poor at the moment. So they're kind of getting forced. If the Levis and the Titans can put up points, then the Bucs are going to be forced to throw. But the one who I liked for this week alone was Russell Wilson against Buffalo, who, since they've lost Matt Milano and Tre'Davious White, they're a bottom 3, bottom 5 defense in the league at the moment. Russell coming off a bye week, team's healthy, and Javonte is getting healthier.
We've been saying for
quite fancy them to put up some points because the Bills are going to put up points, and the Broncos are going to have to try and keep up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We have been saying for a few weeks about Russell Wilson's being an option. He's not obviously particularly fancied after probably, the hangover from last season and what a poor season it was, but he's been pretty effective from a fantasy perspective as a QB. And I think we've always referenced him as a QB streamer option for probably a handful of weeks now. So maybe we have to.
If you click on his profile, Anth, because he's had a really tough schedule before the bye.
We've had the Chiefs twice, haven't we?
He's had the Chiefs twice, Green Bay, whose pass defense is pretty decent, and then the Jets, whose pass defense is probably the best in the league. And he's he was in the teens with 3 out of 4 games there. But if you look at the games previous to that,
he's had some 20 pointers, hasn't he?
Where he played bad defenses. What the Bills are. Then I think he's probably live for 20 points if the chips fall right, and we're only playing it for 1 week.
Exactly, I'm sold. So let's bin off our other backup tight end, get rid of Geno, who's not pulling up any trees, and go with Jake Ferguson, go Russell Wilson. I'm in.
Okay, then I'll do that while you used to chat between yourselves there then.
What any
this is
thoughts
one of
on
my-
any of them players?
No, I like Russell Wilson. This is one of my only weeks I'm firing Jerry Jeudy up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy is getting fired up.
Fired right up.
Because Gabe Davis is like fucking. You can't trust him from 1 week to the next. Gabe Davis, and that's who else I've got to play.
I think there's a bit of a change though, and Blandy might jump in on this a bit. After I've said it, there's a bit of change with the Bills now. They've lost Dawson Knox, haven't they? So they're only playing like the one tight end set, which is Kincaid.
Yeah,
and I think they're using Gabe Davis a bit differently. So again, I watched a lot of that game. I watched all the game against the Bengals, and he's playing a bit of bunch formation out wide. Some of the things that he used to do with Dawson Knox, rather than the old Gabe Davis, was just be that long perimeter runner downfield, and he would either hit him with a couple of bombs and he'd go big, or he'd not throw it or bust. I think he's being used differently now that they've got a bit of change in formation, and maybe they're using Shakir a bit more as that deep threat. So I think that.
So it was. They did use him like that in the game against. Oh Christ, I can't remember who it was.
The week before.
The week previous, was it 2 weeks before? Against the Bucks, they used him against the Bucks, and basically they used him as a possession receiver, short underneath, and made him move the chains that way. And then against the Bengals, they just banged him back out wide again on go routes. Shakir played the slot, and it was just Diggs and Dalton Kincaid underneath, taking up everything else.
Kincaid got a lot of action, didn't he?
Yeah. I'll just pull up his game log here.
See, you don't think Gabe Davis is going to see a change role for a long period? It was maybe just a bit of a one-off game.
Yeah, you were kind of hoping. Well, that was it. You were kind of hoping it was going to be where Knox is out. They've put him into this role, and he obviously did really well in that role.
Game, yeah.
And then they just said, "Nah, don't like that. We'll go away from it." Yeah. So in that game, his ADOT was just a touch under 7 yards, and then last week, back into his usual role, his ADOT was 22.5 yards down the field. Needless to say, caught neither of his two targets.
But they did lose that game for the Bengals, and they are under a little bit of pressure now with the record and where they're going. So maybe they have to get him back more involved in different positions.
It's just whether they run him on go routes to clear out Surtain for the other people doing the other stuff.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, they're just going to use him on clear out routes again for everybody else to work underneath. I don't know.
Does that help, Jans? We don't know.
We don't know yet.
but like you never know with Gabe Davis, and you just have to take the you have to take the peaks and
just like a lotto ticket.
Yeah. That's it.
I'm going to play safe this week. I'm playing Kev this week. I think I just need a steady over the 100 score, and I'll be close to beating him. So I thought you were going
to say 75 there. You just need about 75 to beat him.
Question from Kev Stead. Which team should he support? Must be bird related. So,
there's plenty of them to choose from.
The Falcons is your tip of it, Ant?
No, Kevin. Kevin, definitely not the Falcons.
He does love a Falcon as well. Loves a...
maybe the Cardinals?
The Cardinals, I would say, yeah.
Start at rock bottom and then hope he can work his way up.
Yeah.
You can't do worse, can you?
Yeah, I mean, Morty mowed it at the end.
Well, quite literally, you can't do worse.
I mean, Morty at the end, Kev. I'd do that. Yeah, so I'm not playing Gabe Davis. Thanks for that input, lads.
All right, yeah. I hope it helps you out. I see you are playing Bijan though, no?
Yeah, I'm playing Bijan, yeah.
No Kareem Hunt, no? Not this week.
Kareem Hunt's been...
Is he out of the bad books of Kareem Hunt? Yeah, it's not a good place to go, is it, Kareem Hunt?
I got a lot of... Well, to Barry, honestly, last week I got a lot of shit. Hey, as always, if we get a question in, the question takes priority, and I'll interrupt even myself.
Good.
Howdy. Cheers for the question, Bryce. Start 3. Adams, Ayuk, Phelan, Amari, Kirk, or Deontay? Adams is against the Jets, which I've already touched on. I don't like.
Thielen's a start, isn't he?
Unfortunately.
He's the volume man. I tell you who else is your man Deontay Johnson's a start, isn't he now?
I think I might.
He is.
He's found where the end zone is as well, didn't he?
Ever since you declared George Pickens the wide receiver one for the Steelers, he's only caught 2 passes.
He must.
So
Deontay
yes,
Johnson must be sure. I'll prove
Thielen, Deontay.
And
for me, it would be Thielen, Deontay, and Ayuk. I think would be my 3.
I think.
Oh, that's
Barry's
a
internet cut out again, is it? Is he
No, I
still
think
there?
all right.
No.
Oh no, he's there.
I think I'd be looking. I'd be looking for. It's hard to leave Devontae Adams out, isn't he? For such a good player he is.
Lads. I know he's a big name. And we've been playing fantasy for many years, so we've got connection to Devontae Adams. But the Jets, what are the Jets number 1 against wide receiver, Blandy?
They'll be up there. They're good against shut everyone down, really, don't they?
So why aren't you putting Ayuk in the equation here?
Yeah.
He's in the equation.
I gave him
the problem with San Francisco this week that Debo's back, and when you have that Debo Kittle Ayuk combination, 2 hit and 1 miss, and you just don't necessarily know which one is going to miss.
You can't even put Amari Cooper out of the equation.
I'm putting Amari Cooper somewhat out of the equation.
Yeah, you can. He's playing the Ravens. I think that game's probably going to finish 3-3. I think.
I would say the Ravens are going to railroad them, like the railroaded the Lions, railroaded the Seahawks.
Yeah, but the Browns have the Browns are. It's tight. Who's got the best defense in the league between those
Browns
two?
defense is it's unreal.
It
Myles
is
Garrett.
good.
And the
Myles Garrett. Oh.
Ravens defense is very good.
Have you seen the body on Myles Garrett?
I have, mate. Yes.
Jesus Christ. Christ almighty.
But how well are the Ravens running the ball? So the Ravens are railroading teams, and Lamar Jackson doesn't even need to get out of first gear. He sat there with a handbrake on because they're just running all over teams. So are they going to be able to do a bit of that against the Browns, which will sort of doesn't mean that they're going to get as much pressure because they'll just be handing it off so much? That'll be the key to the game, won't it?
Yeah, but I mean the Browns are also very good at stuffing the run, aren't they?
Yeah, I know they're good all around, but it's interesting to see a good run offense against a good run defense, isn't it? See who can come out on top of them.
Yeah, I mean they're probably between them and Jacksonville. It's tight to say who's got the best rush defense, but it's definitely one or the other.
So are we going to give Ayuk a go? And we're going to go Ayuk, Thielen, Deontay Johnson.
But that will be my 3. Yeah, that will be my 3. Who I will go.
Yeah,
I think I'm somewhat in agreement. I'm somewhat in agreement. I'm close between Adams and Ayuk, but I think I'm in agreement.
Yeah, so just Thielen, Deontay Johnson, and Ayuk. If you haven't dropped us a sub, please could you drop us a sub, Bryce? Ask any more questions, many questions as you want.
Yeah, keep them coming. Anything Kev Stead on the question front?
Yes, the Falcons is going for. That's the team for me.
He likes a Falcon, doesn't he, that lad?
Yeah, I mean, I've known Kevin since I was about 5-year-old, and he seems to type differently than what he talks. But hey, who am I to?
We can get him on next week with his knitted Falcons jumper on that he's got, I'm sure.
2 seconds. I'm just checking the WhatsApps.
Yeah.
No, there's no questions coming in there.
So we will go with our
Cheers,
trade.
Bryce. Thanks for the sub, mate.
I think we've diverted a little bit, and we're going to go with the trade offer that we've been, and we've took Russell Wilson, and we're going to go Jake Ferguson, who's been looking pretty useful, hasn't he, for that Cowboys offense?
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
Also, yeah, it's completed.
Yeah, it was completed ages ago. As soon as
I've got an alert through, lads. That trade's completed.
Well, thanks for keeping us up to date, Anth. Cheers, mate.
Breaking news. We've had his eyeballs out there.
Well, he offered the trade.
Yeah,
We've had his eyeballs out.
I don't know, because we're giving up a QB for a tight end, which never quite feels good, but I think it's a bit of a needs must, isn't it?
I'm going to go as far to say this guy ends up maybe top 6 tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, quite possibly. I mean, top 6 tight end doesn't really mean a lot, does it?
I picked 6 and just thought it fucking sounded good. All right.
Yeah. No, but after you get past Kelsey, Andrews, and Hawkinson, I mean, from 4 to 14, chuck a blanket over them, don't
I was just going to say, Anth, run us through your top 6 tight ends while you're...
Yeah. Mark Andrews.
Although, it's maybe a nice little segue into one of the players... One of the players I was going to talk about is challenging for tight end number 1 over the last few weeks, Taysom Hill. What's brought him back into the fold, Blandy? So he's always been the enigma and the oddball. He's all of a sudden exploded into life. What's going on?
The Saints are horrendous at passing the ball conventionally in the red zone because they've got Derek Carr, and Derek Carr's historically bad in the red zone. And Alvin Kamara is absolutely washed as a runner, so they can't use him around the goal line, so they just bundle Taysom over because he's pretty efficient at the goal line, and he can pass the ball in the red zone pretty well as well.
Dual threat red zone.
That's literally it. When Kamara came back, the Saints, he was playing about 75% of the snaps. Last week, he was less than 50% of the snaps. We've quickly realised that having Kamara in a full-time role is not using him at his most effectiveness, and also as a detriment to the team as well.
So do you think Taysom Hill, we can see these numbers just sort of run through the end of the season with some ups and downs?
With some ups and downs, yeah.
Does that put him in the top echelon of tight ends then?
Yeah, because he's always live to score a touchdown every week, and like you say,
pretty much after
pretty much after you get past those first 3 that I said, there's maybe 1 or 2 others, and then everybody else, you just praying for a touchdown, aren't you? Pretty much, and you know, and he's as live as anybody for a touchdown, because unlike a conventional tight end, he's got multiple outs to how he's going to get that touchdown.
He seems to be getting a lot of touches, doesn't he?
He had the most touches of any Saints player last week.
So if you're looking for these tight ends that you're not in that top bracket, but you've got a tight end who's getting 20 touches, you've got to play them, haven't you?
Yeah, I think he had 15 opportunities last week, passing the ball, running the ball, receiving the ball.
He was a free agent.
Yeah,
last week. I picked him up.
Free agent. It's
because he's
because I think because it's gimmicky, nobody thinks that it's sustainable or trustworthy on a weekly basis. But then again, we just had the conversation. What tight ends are predictable on a weekly basis?
It does feel like there's been a bit of a step change. Actually, he's always been gimmicky, and he just sort of started the league season a bit meh, didn't he? But let's say last week, what was it? Just look at the stats there: 11 carries, 5 targets, and had a throw at a quarterback. So
Yeah,
he had a
passing touchdown to Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, the other tight end.
Me and Taz have got him a FFPC $125 best ball, and he was listed as a tight end on there. So we picked him up when we drafted him as a tight end. But then because of the rules change,
changed the rules, didn't they?
Yeah. So about a week before the season, when the Saints said that Taysom Hill was a quarterback and not a tight end, so they could manipulate the 3 QB rule, he got changed to a QB. But for the last 2 weeks, he's actually been in our QB slot in our FFPC league for me and Taz. He started in the QB slot because he scored that many points. He scored more than our quarterbacks the last 2 weeks.
So he's worth having to dig around if you're in a home league who is available. You want to be getting him, don't you? If people are just not quite on the finger on the pulse.
Yeah, Tommy Turnbull's tuned in. Hi guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Hiya, Tommy. How are you doing? Thank you for
Tommy
joining.
Lad, rock on, Tommy.
Hello, Tommy.
Fired in with a question pretty quickly. Who is the prettiest player in NFL history?
Good question.
That's
for me,
easy, isn't it?
and I've mentioned.
Yes, it's Garoppolo. Oh, Miles Garrett. We're going this way. Are we?
Oh, Jimmy. You want Jimmy?
Jimmy G.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, good. I'm just trying to get Miles Garrett up.
Was dating a porn star.
I'm guessing Erin Andrews doesn't come up in the sleeper search.
No, it's spelt with a Y, and that's why. Miles with a Y. There you go.
There he is. Look at his cheeky smile. There is cheeky smile. Baz, anyone on your mind? I'll Google him. No problem.
Tommy Tremble, is he up there with he's been one of our favourites for a while, hasn't he?
Tommy Tremble.
Oh, what was the lineman called that we picked up in the season with the ginger hair? Is it Marsh or Marsh?
Cody March. Cody March. Yeah. He might actually be on this, and stick him in.
Yeah, he will be, I think.
What's he called? Cody?
Mauchch, isn't it?
There he is.
Oh, no picture. Bless him.
Just have a picture.
Poor lad. Tommy's also asked another question, but I will not be showing that on screen. Well, thank you for that, Tommy.
Great input. See you next week.
Cheers for that, bud. Any other players we're going to touch on in terms of who's a potential pickup? Might be on the waivers, might be on a free agency.
I mean, you're not getting much off waivers and free agency these days, are you? But everyone's pretty much discovered.
A question from TY.
TY.
Will Steve Wake win our fantasy league?
Not if we can help it.
Gotta hope.
Right. So, for people who don't know, in our home league, Steve Wake is on 9-0. So 9 wins, 0 losses.
It's some going to be fair to him. Some go to him for good performance to be 9-0. But I think there's an element of fortune in this week with a slipping through with 103 points, don't you, Ant?
Yes. Certainly hurts when you see 103 points win a week when you've scored more than that all season and end up 6 losses in a row.
So at least you're not bitter about it. I mean, at least you're not bitter about it. You've took it well, accepted it like a man.
No, but to answer the question, no, I don't think Steve will win. I think that he has been scoring all right points. Don't get me wrong; he's the highest scorer in the league, but he's also been hitting the right matchups as well. And I think he might just
Go on.
I think he might just run into a big score in the playoffs and get knocked out. Blue's back. She's Blue.
Hello, Blue.
Cheers, Blue.
Should I trade Hill and Godwin for JJ and Montgomery?
Ooh.
We all remember Blue, so we need to. What bloody thing's doing my head and you can't see it.
I mean, I'm reluctant to get rid of any deal that moves on Tyreek Hill because he is just your fantasy match winner, isn't he? When he blows up.
Yeah,
and I want him. I'd probably want to move on Godwin. I think he's on one of my lists of sort of players that him and Baker aren't sort of on the same page. He's not getting the targets, but yeah, I'm not wanting to give up Tyreek Hill in any circumstances. Montgomery, again, start of the season he had that that workhorse role, but Gibbs has been so good since he's been injured. That are they going to go back to solely giving everything to Montgomery and just using it? I think he's out there now, Gibbs, and I'm not sure they can go back. And then you've got Justin Jefferson coming off an injury, obviously a great player, but he's got a little bit of a QB question and where's the team going question sort of thing, and is he going to be motivated enough? So I think on that deal, I'm sticking with Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I would. I think I would stay with Hill and Godwin. Jefferson said today that he doesn't know when he's going to be back. He's
really?
definitely not going to be back. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be back anytime soon. And like the Josh Dobbs story last week was all very good. But I think this week it's going to come crashing down around him, and I think it's going to be pretty rough against the Saints this week. And then there'll be a bit more of a reality check for him, I think. And his ceiling without Cousins coming off an injury, I don't think it's going to be there. I don't think he can match what Tyreek can put up. So
no. I think the Josh Dobbs one's is interesting because he's a bit of a feel-good story. Everyone wants to like him. And
yeah,
everything,
exactly. It's easy to root for, but in reality...
You take that away and
yeah,
he's better than the big pile of incompetent quarterbacks, but he's not very good. So he's better than lots of people having to draft in for injuries, but ultimately he's not going to pull up any trees. He's got a little bit of fantasy... Because he seems to rush and scramble okay, but he's not throwing the ball downfield. Yeah. He's not gonna unlock defenses like Cousins does with Jefferson. So you've got to kind of take all of that story out of it, haven't you?
Yeah, and like he's third in the league in turnover worthy throws. So he's like Mac Jones, Gardner Minshew, Desmond Ridder. Are the three quarterbacks that he's on par with when it comes to turning the ball over. This week against the Saints, who are a really good coverage team, don't really get much pressure, but they cover very well. I can see them picking him off a couple of times, to be honest with you, because the Vikings are going to have to pass the ball because they're not going to be able to run the ball on the Saints. One, the Saints have a good run defense, and two, the Vikings' run offense is absolutely garbage.
Blues made a good point there. His follow-up question, do you want to get that one on screen? Because I think we touched on it a bit earlier in the show. You probably missed it and about how we look at that, how we look at those fantasy, and we have recognised that obviously the Dolphins are busting against the elite teams, but even still, they've got to find a way. And he'll always get his touches, and he can peel off a 70-yard touchdown from a jet sweep, can't he? So you don't go away from him for me.
No, I would.
It's a valid point, but
I think generally you probably want the best player in the deal in most deals, especially where you're giving up an equal amount of assets, and Hill's the best player in this deal.
The only way I could see it favouring the other way is the running back situation. What running backs have you got? And would David Montgomery go straight in your team? I'm not saying that would definitely be it, but just one consideration.
I
if you
think
were
he's
desperate
right.
for a running back.
Yeah, I think he's right to try and look to move Godwin on as well, isn't he? I don't think he's somebody who's going to win you many games or certainly get you playoff wins, because I think he's just not on that connection with Baker. Is either going elsewhere for a lot of, even when they put up lots of points last week, he didn't get much of a share. Or
Yeah, he's just like
it's not his
he
bad
saw
player.
it last year, and he was coming off. No, he saw it last year, and he was coming off the ACL, and there was a lot of short passes, a lot of screen passes from Brady to him, and he was used in the short intermediate area, and you kind of thought, well, another year off that injury, Brady not being there, so not checking down as much. His targets will become a bit more valuable a bit further downfield, but it just hasn't happened really.
No.
Another question from TY. Big week for Paul Hope, who's going to see the 49ers play the Bucks. He's put the Bulls there and in the Bills, but it's the Bucks.
Close. Yeah, I know.
Got there eventually. Yeah,
I know what he means.
Do you fancy the Bucks causing an upset?
Well, week's a long time in the NFL, Anthony. So, I mean, who knows what happens between this week and next week?
Well, I need a fucking miracle to happen. That's what they need. There's no way.
It's a bit of a good. It's a big week for the 49ers this week against the Jags, isn't it? So that both teams off a bye. And they've had that little bit of they've had a sticky spell, and are they going to come back and be the 49ers in the first part of the season, or are they going to continue with this little bit up and down, turnovers creeping in?
Do you know what I was thinking? Yeah. And do you know I'm Purdy's biggest critic, but I think you can play him this week.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you can play Purdy just about every week, to be honest with you.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. It takes a lot for me to say that. That's all. You know what I mean? Baby steps.
Always better for. You go.
The state of the QB position.
Yeah, fair enough.
It doesn't. I mean, it does. If you scrolled up, he's probably outscored his predicted points more often than not. So I won't pay any attention to the predicted points.
No.
Yeah.
Question from Kev Wake. Thank you for joining in again, Kev. Much appreciated. It's our favourite time of the. Oh, is it? Is it not? Oh, is this a real question?
It's actually. That's how desperate he's getting. He's actually asking real questions now.
Mingo, Shakir, Noah Brown, Christian Watson. Which two does Anth want me to beat him with?
If there is options, there's no wonder he's towards the bottom of the table. That's my first comment.
Right, he's just picked. He's picked Shakir, Noah Brown, and Watson up all off waivers in the last 24 hours.
Is that club desperate? Is it?
Well, I said to him earlier in the week that Chase is going to be out. I think Chase might play now. With Higgins being out, that the Bengals still need to win. I think Chase practiced today, just not with a team, just against himself essentially. But I think because the situation they find themselves in, I think Chase might play. So I think Chase might be an option for him this week. But to answer his question. To answer his question, Shakir. I go with Shakir this week.
What, you'd play Shakir?
He wants two. Which two?
Out of his ups.
What about? I think Noah Brown's a potential start, isn't he, Blandy?
I don't. Is he?
He's getting a good share of
the play. Well, actually, no. It's a good point, actually, because it looks like Nico Collins is going to be out this week. I don't think Nico Collins plays. So, yes, he might be able to sustain his role if not his production that he put up last week. Yeah, because it looks like Nico Collins is going to be out. And Robert Woods has practiced, but he'll probably be questionable going into the game if he does it all play. So Noah Brown and Tank Dell will be the two wide receivers against the Bengals.
And we know the Texans
definitely beatable.
We know the Texans aren't running the ball as well, don't we? Because they haven't been able to run the ball all season. So
no,
Stroud's obviously excelled. He's come off that monster week. You fancy a couple of wide receivers to have some games, and I think Noah Brown's fitting that spot.
Yeah, that was a frustrating thing with the Texans before last week, in that Stroud had shown, a lot of promise, but they're still on early downs, first and second downs, that they still weren't really trusting him. They were still running it the second most in the league. It was only the Cardinals who were running it more than the Texans on first and second downs. But last week, they finally capitulated that the running game's garbage, and they threw the ball on first and second downs at the fourth highest clip in the league. So, it doesn't have to stay that high. Just even if it gets back to league average, then it's still going to be good for Stroud and all the pass catches on a weekly basis. But yeah, if Collins doesn't play and it looks like he's not going to play, then Noah Brown definitely has a chance of sustaining his role. I don't think he's going to score 27 points again, but probably get you double digits.
No, but if you get into the teens, you'd be happy for pickup, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
2 seconds. Another question. Back to Blue. So he had that Monty trade just to be in his flex. His two RBs are Jacobs and Pollard. So I think we'd say keep Hill.
But I would say to Blue, keep shopping Godwin around and see what you can pick up for Godwin.
Yeah, I would.
TY, I love a good tight end. Don't we all? Doesn't? TY. Who is the best in the league at the moment?
Is obvious? Well, we said Taysom Hill, haven't we? He's the number one.
Kelsey's the best of all time, isn't he?
He is, but how fit is he? How fit is he, Kelsey? Is he 100%? Is he playing through something?
Didn't have a good game
Mark
last
Andrews
game.
Yeah,
he's looking good, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, Kelsey's played through the injury that he's been playing through since the start of the season, but it hasn't stopped him producing, has it?
No, but I just worry that, let's say, he's got 2 games with not his usual self. I think Mark Andrews is, again, if you're just saying, I want to pick a tight end and who's going to score me the most fantasy points this week, I might not pick Kelsey just because of his fitness.
Kelsey's definitely not scoring any
no, this week because he's on bye,
yeah.
But just for a week. You're a big Mark Andrews fan, aren't you?
Yeah, well, always have been. But you're all forgetting Jonnu Smith. Imagine being a Pitts owner. Fucking hell, I'd have smashed my TV up. You see big Jonnu Smith pegging it down the field.
What about another one of your men on the tight end spot, Hunter Henry? Is he a little player this week if you're in that tight end hell, Blandy? Given that the Patriots have got very, very limited options at receiver now.
Yeah, playing the Colts, aren't they? Yeah, they're definitely
in Germany
play against. Because the Patriots they've reverted back to just playing 2 tight end sets all the time. So you got Douglas and Jalen Reagor as your 2 wide receivers.
I mean, Reagor's no good, is he?
Well, no, I mean, I can't understand why Mac Jones is struggling, to be honest. In Jalen Reagor, Pop Douglas, Mike Gesicki, and Hunter Henry. But yeah, I mean, there's only Douglas. There's only
Traquan Thornton's back in as well, isn't he now?
He was till he ran the wrong route last week, and then he didn't play another snap.
He's gone.
Yeah.
But I think there's at least a bit of something between Mac Jones and Hunter Henry. He's obviously he's dependable. He's got that trust.
Yeah.
Again, it's always a bit of a safety blanket for average quarterbacks or bad quarterbacks or struggling quarterbacks to just slam it to the tight end on a low target depth. So I think Hunter Henry's a player this week from the tight end spot.
Yeah.
Question from Blue.
You want a touchdown out of him.
What are your thoughts on Cooper Kupp? Contemplating to trade him or not? Now, I'm a Cooper Kupp owner.
Yep.
And AJ is a Cooper Kupp owner as well. And during the week, AJ got offered DJ Moore. And you remember who else it was, Bandy?
No, because I didn't see I don't think I saw the original.
It was a 2-for-1 offer, DJ
message.
Moore and someone else. And he was going to take it. I was like, no. It's Cooper Kupp.
I'm hoping Blandy's going to shed us a bit of light on what's going on with Stafford, his thumb, and obviously picking up Carson Wentz.
Well, this is the thing that didn't make sense, This is the thing
Cooper Kupp's value is reliant on Stafford, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the thing. No, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
Devonta Smith it was.
So, yeah, Devonta Smith and DJ Moore for Cooper Kupp. And the reason he was panicked into it is because they'd picked
Carson
Wentz up. But Carson Wentz getting picked up was like a positive sign, because if they kept on with that other lad, then Kupp would have been fucked.
Yes.
But at least Wentz can play. Play.
Yeah.
So Stafford, fair enough. We always want Stafford to play, but Wentz will do the job. Enough for Kupp to get some points.
It'll stop him dropping off a cliff, won't it? Absolutely.
Yeah. That was just absolutely horrendous. That the Rams' offense last week with Brett Rippon. Like, I think he attempted 2 passes in the first half. Like,
and they haven't exactly got the run game singing at the moment, have they?
No, the run game's garbage. So no, I wouldn't panic over Cooper Kupp. I wouldn't trade him away. Stafford's coming back after the bye. The contract that they gave Carson Wentz was a vet minimum. Like, it's not even $1 million. So it's a genuine backup quarterback's contract.
But puts him ahead of Rippon.
Well, no, Rippon's gone. They waived him.
Ruthless. Absolutely ruthless.
Yeah. They waived him, and they waived Dresser Wynn, who was the backup. Dresser Wynn. So yeah, like the Wentz thing was just purely we need a competent backup, because we don't have one. So that's all that signing was.
You're on bye this week, and hopefully some health from a lot of people, and week 11 you could start seeing some of the old or the early season Rams back.
Yeah, and week 12 we get Kyron back as well, which will be a big help.
I was going to say I've got Kyron Williams in the redraft league that we're in, and I did read the comment that they're expecting back week 12, and I was like, surely that should be week 11, but week 12 I'll take it.
It's because they put him on IR, so he has to miss 4 games, not 4 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
So he'll come back and play as soon as he's allowed to, basically.
And you'd expect him to slide back in. Nobody's sort of holding down any.
No one's done anything to warrant him not going straight back in there.
Okay. So long story short,
Henderson's been horrendous.
Do not trade Cooper Kupp.
Nope.
You will regret it. Because when you're in the playoffs, if you get in the playoffs and Cooper Kupp's getting fucking 30 points, you'll feel like topping yourself.
Do you know what? Did I offer you Addison in our redraft league? I think there's a few people going to might regret turning Addison down in their when they get to the playoffs, and I think he's got a now. I know Dobbs is not. We said he's not brilliant, but he's probably going to be better than. Was it Clayton Tune who were going to play, or was it somebody else who were going to play? I think he's got a chance of still being fantasy relevant without his quarterback.
Sorry, Blue, I missed that question. I noticed you asked that question before. I forgot to put it up. Should I start in Jigba or Noah Brown?
He's your man.
I think I'd start in Jigba against the. I'd start in Jigba against the Commanders. That defense is really, really soft. Gives up lots of big plays, and the Seahawks have got a point to prove at home. Yeah, the Seahawks have got a point to prove.
And the Commanders have just let two pass rush score on a
bad loss. Yeah.
Great insight from Tommy Turnbull there. Just start them both, Blue. You could be running your own podcast next week, Tommy.
What about a little bit? Whilst we're talking quickly about the Seahawks, what's going on with DK Metcalf then? Because something's not quite right there, is it? His numbers are not getting anywhere near his reputation or his draft value. Is he trading around right receiver in the 30s or something?
He's wide receiver 46. He's playing injured, That's what it is. He's got a hip pointer.
Right.
Yeah. But like he's still seeing a healthy amount of targets.
We're gonna say it's not enough to keep him off the pitch, and he's just not having those big productions, is he?
But even when he was healthy this week, this season, he's done absolutely jack shit. He's the most he scored 17 points. Which is not going to he's not going to cut it really.
Trade him away if you have him.
I've got him, and I would like to trade him away. Yes, but I don't think I get a great deal for him, to be perfectly honest with you.
No, but you never know. There's always a few fills out there, isn't there? Chance your arm.
Well, the other thing is, he gets healthier and then he starts smashing down the stretch, which he's always liable to do. That's in his profile, isn't it? So, just have to see how it goes.
Last question from Blue. Who you all got tonight? Let's have a look.
Bears. I think the Bears win pretty comfortably.
In a low scorer or in a high scorer?
Low scoring affair.
Yeah.
I think the Bears want to run the ball. The Bears are good at running the ball. The Panthers' defense is 32nd in the league, which I think might be the worst. If someone wants to fact check that, they give up the second most yards to running backs and the first most touchdowns to running backs on a per game basis. So everything sets up well for the Bears tonight to just run the ball, play keep away, and put pressure on Bryce Young to have to throw to get back in the game, which didn't work out too well against the Colts at the weekend for them.
No, and in the backfield for the Bears, if we think they're going to go run heavy, Herbert's out, isn't he? That's confirmed now, isn't it?
Yeah, because he wasn't activated off IR. So
is that all roads point to Foreman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Foreman had. I think he played 87% of the snaps against the Saints.
I was going to say that there was some thoughts of Roshan Johnson getting in the mix, but never materialised last week, did it?
No, he hasn't been able to beat out Darrington Evans yet. So
doesn't look good.
No.
Well, I've got an itchy elbow there.
I wonder what you were doing there. I thought you were sort of impressing, or
from being bitten.
He's got Purdy elbow.
Purdy elbow, yeah.
But there's not many fantasy relevant players tonight, is there? Because I think even when I had a quick look at it, let's say you'll probably start Foreman because he's going to get some volume. Even that Panthers backfield, Hubbard. We spoke about it 2 weeks ago, didn't we? Say Hubbard had overtaken Miles Sanders through performance, but now Hubbard's doing what Sanders was doing and running at 2 or 3 yards a carry, and it might start flipping back the other way.
Yeah, I think Hubbard's live to catch 5 passes tonight. I think if you've got him as your RB2, I think you'll be all right tonight.
And Cole Kmet, a little bit of an upside recently.
Yeah, I think he's tight end 5. I think in total points. I think Cole Kmet is purely on the back of touchdowns.
But is it also tied in a little bit to Bagent QB can't throw the ball downfield, but he can get it into his tight end because he's just a short depth to throw. That helps, doesn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. That's one thing for sure.
Bench.
But if you've got him, you're playing him. Well, we're playing DJ Moore this week, aren't we? Now we'll leave.
God, are we? Can we find a better option?
Yeah. Probably not. No. I mean, the Bears.
Noah Brown not available.
I mean, the Bears' defense isn't good, is it? So.
No, but I just don't know.
Sorry, the Pants. He wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I got mixed up. It's a revenge game. It's a revenge game for him, isn't it? So obviously, he's
how much a big game? How much volume is he going to get, and how much deep ball volume is he going to get? I'm just not sure that Bagent's going to do it for him. If I'm honest.
If they're going
to go run heavy, they're going to get up early. They're not the conditions that's going to get DJ Moore some big bucks, are they?
No, what you're hoping is that they get up early by passing, which is, to be fair, when they played the Saints, that's looked to be how they wanted to do the game, is to get up by passing and then you salt away the lead by running the ball. But yeah, I mean, you'd prefer Fields there. His target share definitely has come down with Bagent under centre, but you just have to take his medicine.
So there's not a lot of fantasy reason to watch tonight's game, is there?
No,
it's more
no
highlights. Check your points.
No, I'll be. I'll get up at about 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, stick it on before the school run. Watch the game.
Watch the full game?
Yeah.
Fuck that. This is one of them ones, right? When you're playing someone who've got the Bears or the Panthers players in the team on a Thursday, you think, fucking hell, I'm going to wake up to a freak fucking score here where someone's had like 4 touchdowns when he was predicted 7 points or something.
I'm not sure there'll be 4 touchdowns in the game.
That could be Donta Foreman tonight.
Yeah. You might run into Adam Thielen and get 2 touchdowns or something.
Well, I mean, Thielen's definitely live because the Bears give up the sixth most points to slot receivers, which is where Thielen pretty much solely operates out of. So Thielen's definitely live for a touchdown and 7 or 8 receptions. So yeah, if you did run into a 20-point Adam Thielen score, one I'd want to vomit, and 2, it's probably wouldn't be a shock.
Yes.
So where do we leave off? We were looking at any other players to pick up or potentially on free agency or waivers before we got sidetracked with the questions.
just have a look for Demario Douglas, just out of interest, just to see what his rostership is like this week. Has he popped over the 50? No, he's still below 50%. So
when we've finished on pop, I've got a name for you, Blandy.
Yeah, go on then.
You pop. You finish off on pop, and I'll give you a name.
Well, no, it was just like the worry. The worry going into last week was is he solely a slot receiver? But once Kendrick Bourne had been put on IR, they played him pretty much as an outside receiver. I think 65% he lined up outside, so he's basically a full-time player for them now. And they have absolutely nothing else. He's the most explosive player they've got. So he's definitely going to still remain fantasy relevant.
And you're not picking up any Juju, though?
No, Juju. I mean, he's just horrendous, isn't he? I mean, do you see the drop that killed the game last week? Like, literally went. I don't think I did, but
he's had from a very, very low base, he's had a bit of a resurgence, hasn't he, in his fantasy points?
Well, I mean, that was what you see on the screen there. That was his season high, 51 yards.
Exactly. Okay, here's a name for you. Then. Kyle Phillips.
All right, okay. Yeah. I mean, if all games were just consisted of 2 minutes, the 2-minute drives, then Kyle Phillips would be a wide receiver one, I think. But
he's never 24. It's about fucking 12.
He
so I'm just like he didn't. Last week. So he's had a little bit of an uptick in them last 2 weeks, hasn't he? From
but I mean, you can't.
No. I'm just again trying to find players who you can pick up out of nowhere or nobody's got, or you don't know. So again, the little bit tells me in the last couple of weeks he's had a little bit of more action. He's potentially the wide receiver 2 at the Titans.
No.
Westbrook Akini, he's saying too.
Yeah, he's not the wide receiver 2, but he's going to be on the
potential
pitch.
to be the wide. He's got potential to be the wide receiver.
No, that's it. Like,
you don't think he does even have that?
No, because he's he's purely a slot receiver. Like, nothing
wrong with the slot receiver.
No, but it is when the Titans only play it 30% of the time. He's never going to be a full-time player, and he's not on a team that's high scoring, is he? Like, you don't mind someone who's not a full-time player, like a Shakir or someone, because he's on a high scoring team, but. He's good at earning targets. Yeah. He's good at earning targets. He was last year as well before he got injured. But I don't see a path to his role growing. That's the problem.
Okay, I'll say the path to his role growing is Titans start seeing some upside with Will Levis throwing it downfield, D-Hop's running deep and getting lots of bombs. And they need somebody to come in underneath and break out. And he was a bit of a prospect who's had some injuries, is the only thing I know about him. And maybe there's some upside to join all of those. If all them stars align, you might get something out of him.
You might, lads.
As always,
that's fair.
I'm interrupted for a question. The question's always come first on the Fantasy Front Office podcast. A question from Penguin02 YT. Thank you for the question. He's 3-6.
Ouch!
I know how you feel, mate. I know how you feel. Started off with going 3-0.
Oh, you've been through this, Dan. Come on, interrupt the question. Come on.
And I've lost 6 in a row. Anyway, I digress. PPR. Should I trade Jacobs and Olave for Eckler? Running backs are JT, Jacobs, Pollard, Aaron Jones, Keaton Mitchell. Wide receivers are Chase, T. Higgins, Olave, Godwin, and Rashee Rice.
No.
I mean, he seems pretty
No.
stacked at running back, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know.
no, I wouldn't do that. T. Higgins is week to week with a hamstring injury, so you can write him off for the foreseeable future. We all love Rashee Rice, but the Chiefs don't, and they played Justin Watson over him again at the weekend, which was disappointing to see.
Yeah.
So
After the touchdown as well, you thought, come on, just let him off the.
Yeah. No, they're not interested
Do you know
in getting
what?
him, putting him in a full-time role.
I thought we could do a show this week where we don't talk about the Chiefs' wide receiver merry-go-round. They're on a bye. We don't. I've been saying it. I said it for week one. Don't get involved with the Chiefs' wide receivers. Don't get involved. Don't talk about them. Don't draft them. Don't play them. Don't worry about them.
No, because one time you don't, they find the next Tyreek Hill, and then you won't have him.
No, I won't have him. Definitely not.
You need to keep track. You need to keep just testing the waters with them Chiefs wide receivers, because one day there's going to be one of them that hits, especially in Dynasty.
No. Olave is an interesting one, isn't he? Because he's just getting so many uncatchable balls, isn't he? Olave, Blandy. What do you reckon?
They will not. For whatever reason, I don't know, give him any easy layup underneath targets. It is literally just run 15 yards downfield, and Derek Carr, who's garbage, will try and get the ball somewhere in the same postcode as you. And maybe
it just sails over his head. He's like this, and it's about 1 meter or 2 meters over his head.
Yeah. Just him and Carr are just not on the same wavelength this year. He was far better with Andy Dalton.
Agreed. But back to Ben Gwynn. I think I'd like to get Eckler, but if I've already got JT, Jacobs, Pollard, but if he's already got JT, Jacobs, Pollard, Aaron Jones, I mean that's pretty good depth at your running back slot, isn't it? We haven't talked about JT, but he's got to that position we wanted him to get to, didn't he? Where he's just dominating the backfield now.
Yeah, he took over it last week. So I would personally, I wouldn't do that deal. I don't think you need to.
Don't do that deal.
I don't think like Eckler's scored a couple of touchdowns last week. He's always live to score a couple of touchdowns, but since his injury, I don't think Eckler's close to the same player as he was prior to it. I still think that ankle's bothering him.
Mm-hmm. You've got to look at his team there. He's got a hope. I was just going to say he's got a hope that Jamar Chase stays fit and does the business, and same with Waddle, and hope he can ride those two sort of premium wide receivers, and then he's got a stacked running back room. So hope that can turn his season around.
I just think when you're 3-6, right, you get to this part of the season, your ass starts to go a bit. You lose faith in your players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes the best thing to do is nothing at all.
Great advice.
I think that's. I am there personally for my team. I think Ben Gwynn's there with his team. Straight into Lazo. Thank you for the question, Lazo. Ben Gwynn, if you have a sub, please drop a sub. We've actually broke 80 subscribers now, boys. Check it out.
That's 79 more than we thought.
4 of them's me, and 2 of them's my mum. But anyway, cheers, Ben Gwynn. Ben Gwynn subs. Legend.
Good lad.
Every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. UK time. I don't know what it is EST at the minute, to be honest. Sorry, back to this question. Half PPR, start 1 at flex. Gabe Davis, Drake London, or Chuba Hubbard.
Go on, Barry. I'll let you go first.
I'd maybe be tempted with the Gabe Davis just for that massive upside that you can get with him. I don't think any of them have got a consistent ball in the body. I'm going to probably plump Gabe Davis. I think we touched on Hubbard. I think he could end up in a timeshare with Miles Sanders, which again is no good for anybody, is it? So I'm scratching him off. Drake London again, he can be a bit up and down. And do we know what the Falcons are going to do? Do we want to trust Arthur Smith, Anth?
No, we do not.
So Gabe Davis is my answer.
No, we do not trust Mr. Smith.
Blandy,
At all.
are you gonna rubber stampers, or are you gonna go a different direction?
Just out of interest, are you favoured in your matchup? Projected to get beat in your matchup? If you're chasing points, I will go with Gabe Davis. If you're even, or you predict,
If you're a favourite and you want to be conservative,
Yeah.
who's your conservative pick?
I'd go with Chuba Hubbard.
Okay.
I'd go Gabe Davis now. I fucking hate Gabe Davis after the last week. Anyway, Basil subbed. Thanks for the sub. You're from the UK, yep, from the northeast of England. Yeah. We also follow us on the Muff Pump Partnership. We have some race horses in training that we name after NFL players.
On Twitter, or X as it's now known, isn't it?
X. Muff Pump Partnership.
X.
Tommy Turnbull, I just subbed. Thank you for that, Tommy. Much
Is
appreciated.
he on about the podcast or something else there? I don't know. I don't know what he's up to.
Question from the artist. What's up? We're selling some whiskey. Chatting with the boys. Wide receiver, Ayuk. T. Higgins, I presume that means. Running back, Etienne and Foreman. Flex, DK, JSN, James Cook. Thanks.
I think what we're saying
T. Higgins
from wide
is
receiver,
out.
T. Higgins is not fit. Yeah. So that's an easier one, isn't it?
He's out.
Fitness dictates that one.
Yeah.
It would be difficult not to pick Travis Etienne, wouldn't it? Even though we kind of tipped
Yeah.
up Foreman to have a good week this week, you're picking Travis Etienne, aren't you?
Yeah.
Running back 3 overall. Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing Etienne, yeah.
And then the
easily
flex
an
is
elite
where
player.
it gets a bit spicy then, I guess, isn't it? In terms of where do we stand on James Cook?
I'll just tell you a little secret here. I'll tell you a little secret.
Go
for it.
So I dropped Bijan Robinson last weekend for Kareem Hunt, and I got abuse of everyone.
Good.
Now, Kareem Hunt outscored Bijan Robinson.
How many points?
He outscored him. Okay? So, just because I dropped Bijan Robinson, all the vultures...
Just because the results was correct doesn't mean the process... Doesn't mean the process was correct.
All the vultures started to circle. And I'm not going to name any names.
Me, I was one.
I was offered James Cook for Bijan Robinson. And it was someone else. It was a 2-to-1 offer. But one of them was James Cook. So I'm interested to see what Blandy says about James Cook right now.
Out of those 3, I would play James Cook in the flex.
So why do you want rid of him then?
What's that? Well,
why did you want rid of
what's
him?
the point of you having Bijan on your bench? What's the point of you having Bijan on your bench? You're not going to play him. You might as well get rid of him. Get rid of him for someone who you can play.
I think it takes a brave man playing James Cook, personally.
And
well, you're not
all the
a brave
DK.
man, so.
I mean, let's give Anthony his due. He made that brave call to drop Bijan and play Hunt.
Barry. Thank you for that, Barry.
Hopefully, it was a one-off rush of blood to the head, and he doesn't do it again. But he can maybe have some justification that he got it right because they got this week. But he won't win overall doing that. I think if you do that and say, I'm not rating Bijan, I'm putting him on my bench, you're inviting people to say, well, I'll give you some mid-round players for him because you're saying he's not in your top 6 offensive players. Therefore, you should be getting some offers for that value. That's my thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you kind of showed your hand.
Right. It's from these questions, man. Fucking hell.
So we think James
But,
Cook is playing a flex.
Yeah. So,
Do you guys follow real football?
I would
Fucking,
play
this is
James
real
Cook.
football.
Yeah.
I'd play Jason.
Okay.
So real football, I presume you mean soccer. Yeah, you mean soccer. Man United this season has been hilarious.
Yeah, it was a good one last night, wasn't it?
Was it a red card?
Well, yeah, he got sent off, didn't he? Or a card?
No.
Well, reference a red and red. It's like when's a catcher, when's pass interference, If the ref gives it, is it? Yeah. Yeah, we follow real football, don't we, Blandy? You played at the Riverside Stadium. That's real football. No skill involved, just real men playing football.
Yeah, definitely. Football of some description. Real or not sure. Are you going Saturday?
Certainly am, yeah. See, I've had a choice of do I go watch Darlow or do I watch Borough, so I've had to pick Borough.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you not want to put Tommy's question up for me, Anth?
No, I don't think I can put Tommy's question up for us, to be honest.
It's not the type of show, is it, Anth?
We'll probably get banned from YouTube.
If we got banned off YouTube, what would we do Thursday nights?
Twitch. We'll go on Twitch, I think.
That's not a medical condition, is it?
Actually, I might multi-stream with Twitch soon. I like this, mate. I think it's a nice little vibe. I think it was Tommy Turbo still going off in the chat.
Have you got any players then that you wanna put forward this week?
The lads are biting. And so if anyone doesn't know, I've got like 3 screens here, and I've got the WhatsApp groups on one of the screens, and some of them are Manchester United fans. So I've like screenshot in about the Manchester United season being hilarious. And the answer back from Kev Wake was daft, CUNT. Michael Bland in the chat. Hey, make sure you subscribe, please, Michael Bland.
Do I have to?
Thoughts on Noah Brown? We touched on Noah Brown a couple of times, haven't we?
Yeah, I think
we did. Yeah, we'll go back over it.
It seems to be a popular topic tonight.
He's obviously a bit of a buzz player. I think that just this general synopsis is while Woods and Nico Collins possibly aren't playing or fit, he's getting a good share in a very pass-off heavy offense, and he's had some good numbers, so there's nothing to stop it continuing for at least the next few weeks. So I think you want to probably ride him while you can, but it's probably not a great deal of long term. He's not going to take you all the way to week 17, is he?
No, I don't think so. No, he's you can plug him in when Nico's out, which looks like that's going to happen this week. So,
even last week Nico played, didn't he? And he did all right. Noah Brown.
Yeah, but I think it was just propped up by the amount of passing volume that they had. Pull it up here. Because obviously, it was a ding-dong battle going back and forwards, which you might get again. Yeah. So, CJ Stroud had 43 pass attempts, which is probably 10 more that you're likely to get on a weekly basis in a regular game. So obviously everyone's floor was elevated a bit last week because of that. And Nico I think Nico only saw 5 targets, so I don't know whether he's picked up the injury he's now injured with, and if he's picked up that injury during the game last week, and that's kind of why he's only seen the 5 targets.
Fair.
Tommy Turnbull, anyone else in the chat based out of Birmingham want to meet up? If you do, get your location
Tommy,
pinned in the comments.
Tommy, there's only
What
about
could go
5
wrong?
people watching. There's only 5 people watching. They're all from Darlaw.
What could go wrong?
I thought Tommy was in the US of A anyway. I thought he was
Oh,
over
not
there
bad,
picking up
that.
some fantasy insights.
It must be still fucking jet lagged. Any sneaky pickups?
I think not pickups. The only person I've got down as a good player this week is Alex Mattison at the Vikings. Given Cam Akers is out and Josh Dobbs is quarterbacking and let's say not throwing a ball down the field as much, Mattison's probably going to go back to that high volume of touches. He might not be massively efficient with them. We can't say he's going to be a good player overnight, but he's going to get out of that timeshare and more of that potential upside of volume. So I think if you've been a bit low on Mattison for understandably a few weeks, might be a good player this week. Might be stating the obvious, but I think he's one to recognise.
Yeah, I'll just add that he absolutely stinks, and they're playing against a good run. They're playing against a good run defense, so I wouldn't be mad keen to play. But I can
one player
see
I
your
can ask
point.
you about.
See your point that Akers is obviously out the way, but that doesn't mean that Ty Chandler's not going to come in and play some kind of role.
One player I was going to ask you about was Ramondre Stevenson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bandy knows quite a bit about Ramondre because you normally pick him up, don't you?
yeah, I like.
I thought you were going to say he drinks down a pub with him there.
Down the Crown.
Oh yeah, my kind of homie.
I'd love to go on a night out at Bolandi and Ramondre Stevenson.
You've been on enough nights out with me, Bastard. No, you don't want to go on a night out with me.
You and Ramondre together, I think, could be a good combination.
Oh. Me and my brother from another mother.
One concern I have. This is in Germany, isn't it?
It is in Germany.
Don't tell me I've got a passport.
No, just like these international matches, the players just seem, I don't know, drained or whatever from the travel and that. It's just like this season in particular, it seems to be quite highlighted that so they're just not performing the way that you'd expect. Tommy's checking out.
Cheers, Tommy. Thanks for joining. Appreciate all of your effort.
Appreciate that.
Top man.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Mate.
Tom.
Yeah, so just I don't know, the Germany match puts me off a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Indy, the Indy matchup, it's probably not great either. I'm just looking at the numbers now. I had a look before and I lost it. Actually, no, I'll take that back. The Indy matchup is pretty good against the run. So they should be able to move the ball on the floor. The problem is, like, he's only seeing. He's still in the split with Zeke, so his value is going to come in the passing game. Last week he was buoyed by that one big play, wasn't he? A 64-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
But you know, obviously you can't take it off him because he did it, and you know, credit to him. But
You don't give every week, are you?
yeah, and his rushing numbers without that are pretty mediocre, aren't they? He's running,
But I think,
you know, prior to that, he's running at 3 yards a clip.
It's obviously a symptom of the fact that there's no wide receiver threat is the Patriots, so you can stack the box. You can
There's
stop
just
you can sell out on the run and shut him down somewhat. But the flip side of that is, if there's no wide receivers, you've got to keep feeding him the ball and just hope that it clicks and hope he does break one off. So there's a bit of sort of double jeopardy there, isn't there?
There is, but I mean, if you scroll back up and 9 carries last week, 10 the week before, I don't think he's ever seen like a healthy, like first couple of weeks there, but then it tails off again, 14, 8, 10, 9.
But there's been a lot of them games where they've been out of the game, isn't there, and having to chase the game and throw. You maybe against the Colts that can stay close enough to keep the game strip neutral.
Yeah, possibly. It's a tricky one.
He's not done much for you where you've drafted him this season, Ramondre. He's not lived up to last season's numbers. It's not all his fault. It's the team and the quarterback. But it's just not working out, is it?
No, he hasn't come close.
Anybody else on your list of either sneaky or just good starts this week, or people you want to talk about, Blandy?
On the other side of that matchup, I think Michael Pittman is a really good start. I think you can start him with confidence.
He's a lock, isn't he? Pittman, wide receiver every season.
Yeah, Downs probably isn't going to play. Alex Pierce has just popped up as questionable today.
He's an injury doubt,
questionable. Yeah, he's just popped up as questionable today as well. So, and the Colts back end is not great. So
you'd imagine the Colts are going to go Pittman heavy dose, run heavy with JT. And he get 5 targets, 5 catches last week, JT. Again, that variety of tight ends they'll sprinkle all of those big guys in, and they'll get a couple of bits each, and hope that they can get in front against a pretty average at best Pats team, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there is rumours going around that if the Patriots lose here, that Belichick will get sacked, which would be interesting to see if that does actually come to fruition. Yeah.
And if the players know that, do they play for him, or do the players get beat to get in the sack? That'll be interesting as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you don't know. Excuse me.
I think he doesn't seem like he's a nice coach to play for in terms of he's win at all costs, and I don't know the team environment. Like say you run one bad route and you're done. I can't imagine many people. That mentality is based on being successful, and when you're not successful, I don't know if it works.
Yeah, exactly, and that's probably why every single coach that's come from the Belichick tree, when they've got the head coach job themselves, have failed.
Doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
One player I was going to ask you about, Barry.
Me? Yeah, go on.
Just because you're a Bronco, Barry. Javonte Williams.
Javonte, yeah. Seems like he's coming back to the boil.
Doesn't it?
You know, coming off a bad injury, so you've always got to, feel your way in, get fit, get match fit, get confident. And all those things seem to be maybe behind him now. He still looks like he's got a bit of that explosive talent that we saw off him in his rookie year. So I think he's one to keep on the right side of. We did have a bit of discussion a couple of weeks ago about the other guy in the fold. Jaleel McLaughlin seems to have a little bit of something as a bit of a no mark running back, but I think Javonte is still your man.
Yeah. So, we speak about it not last week,
2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, it's 2 weeks ago. I think we touched on it. Yeah.
Hopefully now coming out the bye week, Javonte goes full workhorse. I think that's what we probably should expect. So the previous 2 weeks is 53% snaps, 66% snaps, with 63 and 82% of the rushing share, 70% target share. I'd love to see especially that Russian share number stick. And if we can get those snaps up to about 70%, that would be great. And then he's an RB1, RB2 for the rest of the year. Just on McLaughlin there with Javonte's rush attempts and snaps ramping up the last 2 weeks prior to the bye. It was McLaughlin's snaps and share that had dipped. So the final game there, he was only at 11% snaps and 6% rush attempts. So he's the one who's getting phased out as Javonte is getting ramped up, because Samaje Perine, pretty much he is the 2 minute and short down distance.
Yeah.
He has his role and he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, I think Javonte is one to. If you've got him, you're probably not going to get him on a trade or anything like that. But if you've got, without too giving too much away, if you've got him, I think you've got to ride him now. And I think that schedule's not too bad in those coming weeks. I say, obviously you've got Cleveland in there, which is not great. We've said, the Bills, you can score on the Bills, the Vikings. Again, who's you got after Cleveland? Scroll down on those fixtures there, Rance, for me if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, Chargers, Houston, Detroit, first.
New England. You're getting there's some mileage in there to just ride him out now, isn't there?
Yeah, the Detroit and the New England ones in the fantasy playoffs are a bit of a bummer. They're two tough run defenses. At the moment, things can change.
Yeah.
But things certainly look to be ramping up for Javonte going into the bye, and hopefully that continues coming out of the bye. It will make sense that it does.
So I've got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you were a Bijan Robinson owner,
Mm-hmm.
and you got offered Javonte Williams,
Mm-hmm.
what would your thoughts be?
Where's
Probably
the reject button?
tiers. So I think we're probably in the same tier. So it would be how you could mentally deal with trading away Bijan and then seeing him go nuclear.
What was your own advice earlier in the show? And sometimes when you get a bit twitchy, just do nothing.
Yeah.
I think that would be my advice in this scenario.
I think Javonte Williams could be.
No, I don't disagree with that. I just think it's just maybe I'm not brave enough to give up. If I've drafted Bijan in rounds 1 or 2, and I can see the talent. I can see the talent there. It's not he's a bad player. I just can't. I can't give it up. Can't give it up. Have you wrote him a letter or not? Maybe write him a letter.
Strongly worded letter. A
strongly worded letter. Yeah,
he's a fucking brave man, right? He lives in the USA, right? He must have upset how many fucking hundreds of thousands of fantasy owners in the US.
We're not inciting violence on this show, are we, Anne?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No. Strongly worded letter, I would recommend.
Brave man. He's a brave man.
Yeah. What about just a quick little touch on anybody for the Packers? Aaron Jones had a nice number of touches last week, which, as an Aaron Jones owner in our redraft league, week 1, hamstring injury, he's been absolutely plaguing me since then. But last week he got a decent amount of touches. I'm hoping we're seeing an upward trend on him, given that the Packers are pretty poor. Jordan Love, one of the most inaccurate quarterbacks from the pocket. They've got to just keep feeding him the ball, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, he had a healthy share last week, didn't he? Coming back, 21% target share, 54% rush attempt share. So, but he was playing the Rams in a lopsided game script, in a game that the Packers couldn't possibly lose. So, in more competitive games, I think they got Steelers this week, haven't they?
But the Steelers are not going to get away from them, are they? They're not going to go 3 scores up or anything like that, the Steelers, because they won't score 3 in a game. So it'll be a low-scoring affair, I would like to think.
No, but their run defense is probably going to be better than the Rams was last week. Yeah. the Rams were missing Ernest Jones last week on defense as well. There was a big loss to them in the run game. So, but no,
and I think
if you've got him, you're playing him as an RB2, and then hopefully he can score better than that for you.
And then I think the rest of the Packers, you've got Christian Watson in a similar position to Chris Olave, where he might be running some good routes and on the field a lot, and he's got good upside, but the ball's just sailing miles over his head, so he's just getting a lot of uncatchable targets.
Well, that's the problem is he's not getting targets.
Whatever he is getting is just not good.
But like Olave is getting 25-30% target share.
He's not getting that number.
Christian Watson is at 10% on the season.
But I think we all probably liked a bit of Watson for that, maybe that Gabe Davis boom or bust weeks, 2 or 3 touchdowns he's had in the past. But that was Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball and that high level of accuracy.
Yeah.
He's not getting that accuracy of his quarterback. And maybe the quarterback's obviously not throwing it his way as much as we'd like. He's very hard to start, Christian Watson, isn't he? You probably drafted him in round 7 or 8 was he going in drafts?
Earlier than that.
You'd be looking to. For me, I'd be probably close to cutting him.
Yeah. He's one of the comps coming in to the league was Chase Claypool, and it might be playing out that way, where he's another Chase Claypool. Big, athletic, scored a load of touchdowns in his rookie season. And then didn't build off that. It's tough because he has been injured all season, and he's probably not in the best of spots now. But I mean, it's pretty rough for him.
And then again, the last one I was going to just touch on is a little bit on I know we spoke about the Ravens and the run game. What about OBJ? Is he coming back to fantasy relevance and back to some production in a Ravens team that are getting going?
So the Ravens pulled all their starters last week in the third quarter.
Even let Tyler Huntley on, didn't they?
Yeah, but they left OBJ out there.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to read anything into that.
He got read into that he needs some time. He needs some time to get fit. I can read that into it.
I mean, we're halfway into the season. That was his season's best last week. In yardage.
So I can read from that you're not a fan, Blandy. You're not stashing him. You're not keeping an eye on him because his roster percentage is quite low there, isn't it, Anth?
It is.
37%.
A bit high. It's a bit high. He's just he's not for me. Not for me.
You don't like all these old washed-up players, do you, Blandy?
No.
Anyone over 25 is washed.
Look, he won the Rams a Super Bowl, so indebted to him. But
you'll cut him a slight little bit of slack, will you? Because he won you the Super Bowl. So kind of you.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think people are just chasing a mirage, aren't they?
What about the new kid on the block in the backfield, Keaton Mitchell at the Ravens? Is he a dynasty player you want to have a piece of?
Yeah, I think he's definitely a best ball type player. He's going to be one of these ones where you don't know when you can start him.
No, well, he's landed in this backfield where we've already got the Gus Bus and Justice Hill, and now he's muscling his way in somewhat.
The problem is with him, he's never going to see goal line carries, is he? No. Not only has he got Gus there, he's got Lamar there as well. He's 190 pounds, so he's never ever going to be in line for goal line carries. So if he is going to score touchdowns, it's going to be like last week where he runs one in from 40 yards out, which he's liable to do because he was the fastest. He was the fastest running back in the draft, wasn't he?
Right. Okay. Didn't know that one, but
yeah.
yeah, I knew he was pretty rapid.
He was the fastest running back in the draft. Yeah. So yeah, he's just one that I don't think that you're ever really going to know when you can start him. Certainly, if it remains a three-man backfield there. If we see him. If we see his playing time increase in the phase out, like it's not going to be Gus who the phase out. It's going to be Justice Hill who the phase out.
Justice Hill feels like the odd man out, doesn't he?
It does, yeah. If that's how it's going to play out, and it becomes a 2-man committee, then yeah, obviously you can plug him in most weeks and hope he does rip off a long touchdown run. But I don't think it's
dynasty.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever going to be excited to start him, eh?
No.
One thing I was going to ask when you touched on best ball, so I think it might be worth doing a best ball show. So not a live one. When we can do it, we'll record it and post it, because I want to vent. After losing 6 games in a row, I don't know if I've mentioned it. I'm not sure
you're looking for new angles to try and win, so I can't win on my conventional leagues. I want to try something new. I've heard this best ball. I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I want a bit of interest.
Is that joining the dots?
Yes, yeah. So mainly for me, our loyal AT subscribers. What's best ball? What should I be looking at? What strategy should be doing?
Well,
stuff
no,
like that,
I mean, it's not.
I don't need to go into
so
it now.
we can
It's going to be a totally its own episode.
Yeah,
we're halfway through the
season,
so that's the only problem, isn't it? We're halfway through the season, and so
yeah,
we'll do it in the off season. No bother at all. It's the best form of fantasy.
Interesting.
I think we can do it. Can I play it next week?
No.
Can I do what, DraftKings?
Well, that's
you can do
a different form of fantasy.
You can do DraftKings, yeah. Next week.
That's DFS. That's
DFS.
That's
right. So let's do an episode on that.
You'll get lapped. Like literally, like DFS. You need to use optimizers and projections and rostership. It'll blow your little mind, Nance.
Yeah.
It'll blow your little mind.
Anyway.
What about table?
Can I just give you 10 quid and you put it on for us?
What about table tennis? Have you thought about giving that a go?
Well, I've got jiu-jitsu on going, haven't I? So.
All right, okay. Well, that might take your mind off NFL 6 defeats in a row, whatever your
and the chess
streak.
as well. I'm up to
chess.
600 rated in chess now.
You'll be a grandmaster soon.
Grandmaster.
Yeah, I'm only 2,000 points off grandmaster. I am so.
Yeah, you're on the way. You're on the way.
Small steps. Right, so you're saying don't do DraftKings because I'll just lose my money.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I think you're trying to suggest I was a bit too thick. So. But anyway,
on a serious note, like it takes a serious amount of time and effort to make any serious money at it.
I'm out.
Like,
out.
Yeah.
No. No, thank you. Don't have that.
We'll stick to best ball in the off season, and it'll be great.
Okay, let's do that then. Right, I think we'll call it a day because we've been on nearly 2 hours actually. I've enjoyed it. That's really good.
Excellent.
Good show.
Yeah, good crack.
Appreciate it. Next time, get your questions in. And questions.
Keep it clean.
Anyone watching it back, make sure you sub, you bastards. See you later.